Get myself right up on out of here. I feel like a disgrace, I'm not really what I appear. I go home to my girl and I make nice seem nice. The fact that she don't know that I just put someone on. I don't like being here, constantly live in fear. Could be gone at any time. When you live a life of crime, face the music, do the time. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mayhem Tainment. That, of course, was Marcus Frederiksen playing us in as he plays us in and out of every episode of Mayhem Tainment. Check out his music, reverbnation.com/Marcus Frederiksen. Share out your favorite song and tag us. This is episode 46, Simply Rick and his words for the Diamond Cartel. And my guest, of course, would be Simply Rick. Simply Rick is a wrestler with DPW and recently had a match with Austin Diamond, who has been on several episodes of Mayhem Tainment. So we are going to talk about him a little bit later. So stay tuned to this episode to hear what Simply Rick has to say about Austin Diamond. But first, I do want to learn about Simply Rick. So, Simply Rick, welcome to Mayhem Tainment.
Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely, it's great to have you on here. I always like giving anybody from the indie circuits a chance on our show to get more exposure, to reach more fans, to reach more people. So, absolutely, I'm glad that you were able to come on. So, how long have you been wrestling?
See, I officially started in 1996.
1996.
So
okay, so so almost 30 years. Is that right?
Almost 30 years.
Yeah,
96 was my first PWI recorded match in the arena reports.
Excellent. Okay, that's great. So who is there a specific wrestler or someone that inspired you to get into wrestling? How did you yourself decide that you wanted to be a wrestler?
Well, of course, my size has always been a handicap, and especially in the mid 90s, it was real tough for a guy my size to even have a promotion, even consider me wrestling. I always got told, maybe a manager or a ref. So I got inspired in wrestling by, of course, Nature Boy Ric Flair. I remember him and some of the Steamboat. Of course, some of the indie guys and Smoky Mountain guys that really got me fired up about wanting to be a pro wrestler is Tracy Smothers, the wild-eyed Southern boy, God rest his soul.
I haven't seen too much Smoky Mountain wrestling, only a little bit.
Yeah, Tracy Smothers, he done a little run in WWF at that time as the Smoking Guns, one half of the Smoking Guns.
Oh, what? Bart Gunn?
Yeah, wild-eyed Southern boy.
Okay.
And maybe I got that tag team name wrong. Was it?
Oh, I was gonna say the Smoking Guns were Billy and Bart Gunn.
You're right.
That's okay. Hey, that happens. Believe me, if I try, there's plenty of stuff that I can't remember about the wrestling.
Well, a lot of hits to the head over the years too, and a lot of information stored. Everything gets jumbled. That's the way it is.
Talk about that for just a second before we get into a little bit more of your fandom. The dangers of wrestling. I mean, you just said it. You've taken shots on the head. You've been dumped on your head. You probably had other injuries. There's not really an insurance program for indie wrestlers. How do you handle that at the indie level? Because at this point, the big companies, AEW, WWE, they got insurance, they're covered, they're paid, all that stuff at this point, which credit to the guys that came before them who paved the way to allow these wrestlers to have the kind of benefits that they do at the professional level. But what about the indie level? What about you guys who aren't out on TV every weekend, who are known by everybody?
Oh, if we get hurt, we're hurt. We ain't got, like you said, no fancy medical coverage. Most of us are so stubborn we will continue working our regular jobs just to get by to support our family, and also go climb in the ring the following weekend and do what we love. Uh, Wrestlers are a very stubborn breed. There's really no medical advice I can give, but get in there. I suggest for you to be properly trained by a professional trainer before you do enter our sport, and that cuts your chances down on a bad injury. You and your opponent know your craft and know the business, and that's some of my advice to give to anybody trying to break in, especially someone my size. Because there's a lot of guys my size that's tried to do what I do, and they've not survived as long as I have. A few doctors are surprised I'm even still walking.
That's crazy. Yeah, and you're right. The size wrestling changed in the '90s when wrestling really hit its peak in the '90s there. Um, and then even in the 2000s, once WWE absorbed WCW, you saw Rey Mysterio become world champion, Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero. Those are not people that you those are not world champions, or they don't fit the WWE, WWF world champion mold. If you look at the past 30 years before that, with the exception of maybe Bob Backlund, they're always bigger guys, larger guys. The smaller guys have never really gotten the show, the spotlight, not until the late 90s and early 2000s. So you said Ric Flair. Was there any other of the smaller guys that inspired you?
I'd have to say Brad Armstrong.
Really?
He was
Okay.
excellent. He was excellent in the ring. Bill Dundee. He was real fiery. Uh,
Okay.
a lot of the old school Memphis guys. The guy that actually gave me a chance in this sport was a guy by the name of Sean Christopher. He just established a company, WPW, and then transitioned into Hardcore Championship Wrestling, HCW. And I had a guy finally believe that I can get in there and keep up with the bigger guys. And trust me, I had a rough transition because some of them bigger guys, I was getting stiffed a lot because of my size. They're like, "What's this little guy doing in here? He don't belong in here." So I was taking my hits, but I was popping right back up. For instance, I just had a heavy hit match with Chase Stevens before the Austin Diamond encounter, and we get to Austin Diamond a little later.
Yep.
And that was, I'll just say in our sport, there's hard hitters out there. You step in a ring and you're like, oh, I want to be a pro wrestler. You best be prepared to be able to take a hit and get back up and continue your job. And that's another thing I'd like to tell to all the young guys getting in the ring. Like, the public view is, and I'm going to say the dirty word, the public view is, oh, it's fake. No, climb your butt in the ring. Go against a Chase Stevens or a Gypsy Joe, or some of the old school names, or Dirty Dutch Mantel, somebody of that caliber that'll get in there and knock the hell out of you.
I've never liked that F word either, because it's not fake at all. Okay, it's what you guys do in the ring is very dangerous. You can still get very serious injuries. We've seen very serious injuries, and I mean, there's even been people that have died in the ring. So it is extremely dangerous. Sports entertainment, whichever one you want to go with. I tend to shy away from the sports entertainment aspect and refer to it more as a sport, because I think wrestling does better when it's treated like a sport and not like entertainment. That's just my personal opinion on it. So, um, yeah, so the smaller guys, they're really getting a chance to shine in the wrestling these days, and in the last couple of years. And I think that's great, because I think you get a different kind of a match with the smaller guys than you do with the larger guys. The larger guys aren't doing those corkscrew launches and springboarding. Some of them are doing some high risk maneuvers, but nothing like what some of the smaller guys can do in the
Yeah,
ring, and what the smaller guys the show that they can put on.
most definitely. And I believe what got my popularity, because I came in a time where social media was not as popular as it is nowadays. And
Yeah.
if it wasn't for like networking myself out on the road to meet people like Bill Needham, that's photographer for PWI, Rick, the the persona I went under at that time, Rick Gunner, wouldn't even been in the public eye. There'd been no recorded history. Um, but I believe what made me stand out at that time frame was my size and the fact that these people was coming and paying their hard earned money and seeing me get the crap kicked out of me and still holding my own, win or lose, and walking out with my head up high.
Yeah. Yeah, it's and I think that's the other thing that the smaller wrestlers have going for them is the David versus Goliath story. You know, the
Yes,
story of perseverance. Even if you lose, though, that's the thing. The story gets is still good because even if the hero loses, then you know they still get up, they walk out of the ring with their head high. They you know they're still honor in that. You know, for the good guy. So win or lose, I think it's always a good story to tell. And and I do think it's a story that's being told, and there's variations on it now. With like I said, with the smaller guys coming up, what they're showing, what they can deliver in the ring, and what they're delivering outside of the ring in terms of story is also really excellent. So let's talk about your career then. What are some of your favorite matches or something that's memorable to you that during your career?
oh, there's so many memories. Some of my highlights. A guy by the name of Johnny Rose has a promotion, ACW, over in England, and he invited us to come over. That was one of the highlights of my career. It got me international exposure. We worked for uh, Jack, and he was a great promoter over there, Jack Taylor, uh, and that got us good exposure. But some of my favorite matches would have to be Sean Christopher versus Rick Gunner in HCW, and it was a 60-minute time limit, uh, an Ironman match, 60 minutes. And
Nice.
we wrestled the full legit 60 minutes official time clock. And that was one of the most grueling matches I've had in my career. I've had scaffold matches, cage matches, death matches, hardcore matches, and that 60-minute Ironman match was one of the roughest matches I've had because we legitimately beat the hell out of each other for 60 minutes, and I was around in my prime around this time frame.
Yeah, Iron Man matches. I've always been a fan of Iron Man matches. I don't have any wrestling experience myself, except for backyard wrestling, which of course doesn't count. But I've always loved the Iron Man matches because 60 minutes, that's a long time to be in the ring and to wrestle and to keep the action up. So I've always enjoyed those because I don't know if the wrestlers are they as winded as they appear to be, you know, when the match is over. I don't know, but
Oh, most definitely.
at least the way I seen it or the way I've seen them, they look like they're just exhausted. So, and I always like those matches. I always like the matches where the win or lose, both the guys can barely stand up. They're getting helped back to the backstage because they not because they're hurt, but because they're just so exhausted they can't just physically walk to the back. They need help. So those are some of my favorite matches. I get most excited about those matches where they just give everything. And I don't. I mean, you know, cage matches and scaffold matches they got their place certainly, but to me, the Iron Man match has always been one of the pillars of what makes wrestling really great. If you get a chance to see an Iron Man match, and I'm not mean a 30-minute Iron Man match. Some companies are putting on like 30-minute Iron Man.
Yes.
Not an Iron Man match. 60 minutes is the Iron Man number. Okay. And there shouldn't be, and really a good Iron Man match should not have more than 2 or 3 pinfalls or submission victories for both. Like it should be 2-2 at the most going into the last 10 minutes. Okay. We shouldn't
Exactly.
be. I saw an Iron Man match. I don't remember if it was an AEW. I mean, I'm a fan of AEW, but they put on, I think it was a 30-minute Iron Man match, and the score ended up being like 4-4 going in like the last 5 minutes or something. I'm like, that's ridiculous in a 30-minute match.
Yes, definitely.
So
You you want that anticipation and you want to draw them in.
Yeah, what do you think? You're an indie wrestler, and I know that some indie promotions, they don't put on longer matches for whatever the reason. I've never gotten to talk to a promoter myself and ask this question directly, but what do you think is the reason that some promotions or some indie promotions don't put on some of these longer matches?
Well, some of the buildings we have to rent to do these shows require you a time frame to get in and out, and you pay by the hour. And a lot of us work on a budget. We do what we can, and
Gotcha.
that's pretty much why most of the indie shows run on a tight schedule. 3 hour show, costs us once you start factoring everything in, the cost factor there. Nobody ain't gonna work for free. You have to get what talent you can, especially a young promotion like Doomsday Pro Wrestling. The
Yeah,
promotion itself was born during the pandemic when the pandemic hit. So we had here we was geared up advertising a launch in 2020, and then the pandemic happened and we couldn't run our show.
yeah,
But we it's renting out arenas in places like National Guard armories, maybe a church or maybe a parking lot, but you got to rent that space. And even if you know somebody, you're still on a time crunch
yeah.
because nobody ain't going to sit there 4 hours watching an indie show.
Yeah, you're right about all of that. Yeah, you make good points there. I mean, the challenges of the company, and of course, you got to keep the fans watching. You do have to keep them entertained. So I think you're right about that. And young promotions, we use it as a as a opportunity to plug Wrestling Fans United (WFU). We've been working with them, helping them make some promo videos and stuff for their new shows. They're putting on their second show in January, Dysfunction. So make sure you check that out and look for them on Facebook.
Oh, most
And
definitely.
if DPW promoters, if you're watching this right now, reach out to Mayhem Media. We'd be happy to try and see if we can help you do some promo videos for your shows, do some promo videos for your wrestlers. Maybe even assist you in helping to get your shows out there to the world on YouTube and Rumble and other social media for people to see it. So reach out to Mayhem Media. We're a growing company, and we're looking to expand and continue to make connections and work with people. So, reach out to us, DPW, and if you would like some assistance. And let me just use this as an opportunity to plug our website, www.mayhemmediaproductions.com. Check out our website. Virtually all of our episodes are now on the website. Okay. The only thing that might be missing is the most recent 1 or 2 episodes. I'm going to be updating the site once a month with the most recent episodes. So check out the website and start looking at that. We'll have written articles coming soon. Sorry, Simply Rick, but you gave me an opportunity to get some promotion in there, so I had to take it.
Oh, you're good. We all love cheap tops.
Yep. Hey, it's like like you were saying, you got to sell yourself, you got to promote yourself, you got to
Definitely.
make those connections. That's the only way you're gonna, if you're building something, whether it's a wrestling career or a company, that's what you got to do. You got to sell yourself and get the word out there.
Yes, and I tell that to all the up and coming too, especially the wrestlers coming in nowadays. You guys got this social media network basically in your pocket. Back in the day, Simply Rick, aka Rick Gunner, we used to have to do television tapings. We used to do a month of television tapings in one night. And we used to have to we'd do 1 hour segments and we'd have to get it right on the first tape because we couldn't do a retake. It was recorded on VHS, the big bulky camcorder, that you put on your shoulders.
Yep.
And we'd have to do a month long television taping sometimes in one night. So each time that I came out and performed back in the day, I had to look fresh and look like I was coming out for another week, for the television purpose. But nowadays, we got this social media, and I encourage the younger wrestlers to get on here, talk
Yeah.
crap. It don't matter what you talk about. Get your face out, get your name out. Be that annoying little punk on social media that everybody gets tired of looking at because eventually, you're getting your name out, whether they want to see you or not. They get use of your voice. Keep pushing yourself. Don't give
Yeah.
up.
Absolutely. I've been telling any of the wrestlers I've been talking to, and the promoters, I'm like, I don't know why you got to be on social media. You got to be pushing yourself, and that's what I've been trying to. I've been reaching out to some indie promotions to see if we can. That's why I made the offer to DPW, to see if we can help them get their shows on YouTube and Rumble and other social media places to to get more of a fan base. There's a trade-off. Like you don't want to, I get you don't want to just have your shows online available and then people don't even have to come to your shows to see your content. Like I get it, but there's a trade-off there. You can post it a couple of weeks or a couple of months later and it can still give you the same benefits because an indie show, even if you get a couple hundred, maybe a few thousand people, putting it on social media even 2 months later, you can get tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people interested in your brand. So I think more companies, more wrestlers. Yeah, if you want to make it real, you got to be on social media. You got to be plugging it. You got to be making content. You got to be getting your name out there, as you said.
And just a real quick shout out to Mayhem Medias. This is my first ever interview on social media or any podcast. I've never granted an interview. I've been approached to do a few, and I've always denied it. So this is the first time I've even been on a podcast or an interview platform setting. So hats off to you. I think you run a professional product, and I hope people tune in. And I hope some of my numbers come over and support your cause because I believe this is a good product, and people really should tune in.
Yeah, and I really appreciate that actually, very much. And that's what I try and do. I try and keep it very professional and keep it very professional looking. That seems to be what most people want to see. They don't want to really see amateur stuff. They want to see a good presentation, good conversation. So that's what I try very hard to do. So I do appreciate that very much, and I'm very honored that you said yes to us to come on for your first ever appearance. I did not know that. I will likely retitle the episode now that I know that this is your first show appearance, your first interview outside of the world of wrestling. So yeah, that's really awesome, and I appreciate that as well. I'm glad that I've been able to make this and give some of the people opportunities to get their name out there. Let's talk about this because Austin Diamond is one of those people that I've been able to have on a couple of shows to get his name out there. So I'm happy to be able to offer this to be able to get people's names out there, to get them more exposure, to get their companies that they work for more exposure. So I'm really honored to have that opportunity and have you on. So thank you for that. And let's now talk about Austin Diamond, who is the current DPW champion.
No, that is very not true. The
Okay.
current DPW heavyweight champion is yours truly, Simply Rick. Austin Diamond never pinned my shoulders to the mat. He never got a 1, 2, 3. Now I agree. I went back and watched the video, and I did catch the young man with a low blow. But like Steamboat said, you can't bat 1,000 every time. Stuff happens in the ring. I believe the young man was hurt off the drop toe hold off the start. Now
Interesting.
he stole the title. And just because you knock somebody in the back of the head, pick up a championship belt and walk off with it and say, I'm the champ, doesn't make you the champ. You got to pin the champ's shoulders to the mat, Austin Diamond.
So, okay. So your contention is because he didn't officially pin you or submit you that you are still the champion and that he's stolen the belt.
That is correct. The possessions 9/10 of the law is not in the official records.
Okay. All right. I mean that you make a very strong argument with that. While he may have the belt, you're right. Does the record book officially recognize him as the champion? That's a very a legitimate thing. When are you guys set to meet again?
I'm hearing rumors from the newly formed DPW management. They had a management shakeup mid-season, and the current management is not releasing the final date yet. And I hope they do very soon. But I'm hearing it's going to be before the end of the year is out, and I'm hearing it's going to be called Lust for the Gold, Hell's Bells, and that's just a little name drop that is kind of back in the back management working. So that's a little exclusive news
Working
for you.
title at this point.
Yes, and this is supposed to happen before the New Year's ring in, and that's about all the information I know of right now. But since this is the Wild Wild West, I can indulge you about Austin Diamond. I've got a little challenge for you, Austin Diamond. Would you like me to drop that little challenge on this show?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm happy. I'm happy that Mayhem can be here to be part of the challenge issued to Austin Diamond.
All right, because nobody knows about this. This is coming right from the champ. Not talked about this challenge with anybody. This is an exclusive for everyone. Simply Rick challenges the whole Diamond Cartel for a heavyweight championship title match.
The whole Diamond Cartel. Do you have backup coming with you, or is this going to be a
No,
one on four?
this is for my Doomsday heavyweight title, and whoever pins me in that match will officially be
Oh,
recognized as the Doomsday heavyweight champion.
oh man. Now I am not officially recognized to to do any kind of negotiating on the behalf of the Diamond Cartel, but I have to say that seems like it would put the Diamond Cartel in a peculiar situation there, where they might cause some infighting. Is that your intention?
My intentions are pretty clear because I figure the
I think so
simple
too.
truth is there's a lot of ego on that team. And one of them is going to want to be the champ worse than Austin Diamond. So I see an implosion.
Yes. Yes. See, and I am happy to have you on and give you the opportunity, but I'm sure that you are aware that Mayhem Media is a fan of the Diamond Cartel and Austin Diamond, so we are a little bit in their corner. We try and be unbiased, but we are a little bit in their corner. And I have to say, I mean, I don't know. Well, that's even honestly, just the challenge alone could cause the issue, whether they accept it or not. Just the challenge alone could potentially cause issues. So you've likely already started something now that can't be taken back. So sorry, Diamond Cartel. If I was smarter, if I would have been able to see into the future, I would have said, no, don't issue your challenge here. But I did, and it's out there now. So maybe we can get Austin Diamond on, or some of the Diamond Cartel, or the whole Diamond Cartel on to see if we can get a response to that challenge. That would be really great to do. I've been trying to get the whole Diamond Cartel on an episode. I've only been able to get three, I think three of them out of the four of them on the same episode. But I'd love to get the whole Diamond Cartel on an episode sometime. So let's see what I can do on my end to see if we can get Austin Diamond and some of the Diamond Cartel on to accept or deny that challenge here on Mayhem Media. So stay
Now,
tuned. Go ahead.
now, just to be more specific about what members of the cartel, I'm specifically requesting Scott Diamond himself
You want
come
Scott?
out of retirement.
You want him to come out of retirement?
I want J.R. Rock standing there. Me and J.R. Rock's got some history that goes back 20 years. And of course, the young prodigy, Austin Diamond. That's who I want to see standing across the ring for me for my Doomsday heavyweight title. And if
So
any one of them men pins me, they're champ. They'll be recognized as champ. So there you go, Cartel. There's your chance to steal one fair and square. 3 against 1. Hey, look up my history. Go talk to Stan Sierra and some of the independents. You better get some more numbers if you want to take down Simply Rick, and that's the simple truth.
well, I would advise the Diamond Cartel. Yeah, Austin Diamond, I'm sure will accept it. J.R. Rock, I'm sure will accept it. Yeah, I don't know. Well, I guess we'll see. Let's see if we can get them on and see if
We'll
we
see.
can. Yeah, let's see if we can get them on and see what they're if they accept this challenge, and see what we can get going. So stay tuned to Mayhem Media for our continued unfolding of this story between Simply Rick and Austin Diamond. I'm going to do my best to make sure that they break news here on Mayhem Media for DPW Doomsday Pro Wrestling So make sure you stay tuned to us for that. I will try and see if we can get another episode going before they meet at the end of before the end of the year. It wasn't my intention to do another episode, just the Christmas episode. We have the Christmas episode coming up, just that one. But I'll see what I can do. See if we can get another episode in before the end of the year. See if we can get an answer from the Diamond Cartel on this challenge. Simply Rick, is there anything else that you wanted to talk about with Austin Diamond before we get ready to close out this episode?
Not this episode. We'll save it for a later date. Simply
Excellent.
Rick's got a lot of things to do. I would like to stay for the closing credits, but not on this one, maybe the next one.
Yeah, absolutely. We will definitely have Simply Rick back to continue this unfolding story, and we will have Austin. I know we'll have Austin Diamond back on another episode of Mayhem Tainment. I will do my best to see if we can get the whole Diamond Cartel, including the Patriarch himself, to see their response to this challenge from Simply Rick for the Doomsday Pro Wrestling Heavyweight Championship. As for Mayhem Media, look for us.
Sorry to interrupt, but I would love to come back on because, I got some old tales from back in the day, too, that I'd like people to get to know me. And definitely check out this broadcast.
Absolutely. I will definitely love to have you on again. And we were talking about even if we can't, whether we can or we can't get another episode before Christmas, we will definitely have Simply Rick on in the new year. So let's continue doing that. Oh, he's got some fireworks going in the background there. That's crazy. Appreciate that. And I appreciate your kind words about Mayhem Media as well. I really appreciate them very much. So as for us, we have a Christmas episode coming out sometime. It'll be before Christmas, likely a week or two before Christmas. We have a Christmas episode, so stay tuned for that. And this next week, the 30th, Saturday, November 30th, is the date of the Survivor Series for the WWE. The Last Outlaw, Jesse James, and I are going to be doing a live watch along with the Survivor Series. So if you want to tune into that while you're watching Survivor Series, that would be really great. Tune in to Jesse and I talking. We're going to be doing some commentary. We're going to be talking about some stuff. We may even have a little bit of trivia for everybody. So stay tuned for that. And then either directly before that or on Friday night, the 29th, we're not sure the exact time yet. Check out our social media on Facebook and on Twitter for the exact time of this. But we also have the prediction show for Survivor Series that we're going to be launching finally. That will either take place right before Survivor Series and our live watch along, or the day before on Friday night, the 29th. So look for that next week. That's what we have going on next week. And then at Christmas time, we got the Christmas episode. Hopefully one more episode we can get Simply Rick or the Diamond Cartel on again before the end of the year too. But then that will be it. Then I will be off for Christmas. I will be off until at least probably the second week in January. I'm planning to take a good firm 3 or 4 weeks off for Christmas so that I can recharge my batteries and rest. The website will be going. Hopefully we'll be having written articles any day now that we have all of our content available up on the website. Again, that is mayhemmediaproductions.com. Check it out. It's looking a lot cleaner. It's looking a lot better as I've been making changes to it and getting it filled out and getting it built. And our storefront, check out our storefront, bonfire.com/store/mayhem media shop, and pick yourself up some apparel. The Halloween items are still available for a couple more days, but that's it. They're going to be coming down before the end of November. I left them up a little bit longer to see if anybody wanted to grab any extra. So if you want some of the Halloween stuff, grab it now. They're going away. We're going to be adding some new apparel here very soon for Jesse James, and we got some other designs available. So look for that and check out our storefronts, bonfire.com/store/mayhem media shop. And of course, the music, Marcus Frederiksen is going to play us out. Check out his channel, reverbnation.com/Marcus Frederiksen, and share out your favorite song. And a shout out to his sister, Mia, who is going to be making us some tumbler cups, some custom-made tumbler cups available for the general public. We hope to have that in the first quarter of next year. So shout out to her and The Humankind. Check that out on Facebook, The Humankind. Make sure you search The Humankind, or you will find a different page, not one that you wanted to. And I believe that covers all the shout outs and everything. So for everybody in the Mayhem team, Connor Clarkson, Jesse James, Ms. Pa, Robbie H., our graphic artist, I am your host, JD, alongside Simply Rick, saying good night And that's the end.